to tell you one thing. I picked the right people to speak on my behalf for Carol. Carol was a wonderful, wonderful wife. We had our differences once in a while. One of them was, whenever I'm working on something, I like to do it my way. And she would always say, well, it's easier this way. I said, but it might be easier you this way, but it's harder for me. And everybody says I do everything a long way. But anyhow, Carol was a wonderful woman. She was a great wife. But anyhow, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we met. I had a business where I made and sold personalized stationery. And she ran into somebody that bought one of my rigs from me. And I got a phone call. And to hear this woman on the phone, man, you had to like her. That's just all there was to it. So I made a deal with her. I said, well, she didn't have the money to buy it. I made a deal with her. I said, well, I'm going to the Mary Kay show, and I've got an extra 10 feet. And she was selling some woman's wares at the same time. I said, I'll let you use that space. Well, I really made a real good impression when she came. I was up at the telephone, and she brought a purse in, and she put it down in the stall. And I came back, she wasn't around, there was a purse there, I thought somebody left it, so I picked it up, took it up to the front hall, and she thought somebody stole it. And she wasn't too happy that I did that then. But I want to tell you, that's where we started the meeting for the first time. And anyhow, my mother and father were with me, and we were about done with the show, and I decided to take them all out to eat. Well, my mom said, Dallas, she said, I think Carol likes you. I said, oh, Mama, you know. So Mom and Dad didn't show up, but she did. And we sat down and talked a while, and anyhow, after the show was over, she said, oh, she told me where she lives. She said, if you ever come through that way, come see me. Well, Carol loved horse sales. And I mean, that's what she'd go to 3-4 times a week. That was her entertainment. She loved horses. She loved animals of all type. And anyhow, I show up. I'd been driving for a long time. We went out to eat, and I went on through where I was going to go. And I came back, and I stopped to see her again. So we had a telephone conversations. Now, I'm ashamed to tell this, but Carol and I had to get married. We really did. Because we talk all night some nights, and they didn't have cell phones then. I had to pay the phone bill. And that was our romance for about 9 months. But anyhow, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Donkeys.
Anyhow, she was just wonderful. And we got married, and I'm sorry, folks.
That's all right.
I got this problem at my back, and my mind isn't working. But here's what I want to tell you. She talked about Nara. She called me the other day too, right after her. I guess she talked to you. I don't know. But Carol was a little stiff about church when we first got married, and we went to a church twice. And you know how some churches are real loving, and they had a little lady there, and we sat in the second row, and Carol and I would sit in the second row, and this little lady, she'd get on her knees in the first row, reach over the pew and gave Carol a big hug. Well, Carol wasn't a big hugger. So we only went there a couple times. Then we went to the dine for the first time. As I pulled in the parking lot, I saw Nari, and I knew Nari from this other church, and I knew I was in trouble. And she walked up there, and Carol walked up, and Nari was just the most loving girl there as working with people coming in. And she hugged everybody. She got a hold of Carol, and Carol was really stiff. And when they released, she started through the door, and she mumbled something. I said, what did you say? She said, doesn't matter. And 4 times more after that happened. And the sixth time, Carol had on a lavender coat that belonged to her mother. She didn't have a belt, and it just kind of floated around her. And when she walked up there, I walked behind him. Her arms went up, and she hugged Mary. And Mary, she said to her, she stood back, she said, you know, I went to church all my life, and they just didn't hug. And Mary said, I taught you different, didn't I? Well, anyhow, Mary had moved off to Atlanta, and Carol kept in contact with her. And she had, Mary had a baby that she lost, her second child. But when she called me yesterday, she said something so precious to me. She said, Carol's in heaven with the Lord, I know that. I said, I do too. She said, and she can hug my baby. I mean, that really touched my heart. Carol was just an awesome, I gotta tell you, there's one more story about her. She loved animals, and once you got an animal, you could not get rid of it. Dogs, cats. In fact, we moved to Indiana from Wisconsin. She took 9 cats with her when we got there. And anyhow, we adopted a donkey off the Bureau of Land and Management for $120, something like that. But it was Carol's. It was wild. It almost tore the trailer all apart. And we fixed a little corral for her. She went out every day. She tamed that thing. I mean, it would kill you if you got in there with it. But she worked with that. She tamed it. I've got a reason for telling you this. I had to, we moved down here, and I had to go back and pick up a semi and a trailer I had. And her donkey got sick on the hay they had down here. And we had 4 veterinarians come in, and they couldn't do anything with it. So I told her, I said, Carol, her mother had passed away and left her a little money. And I said, Carol, it's your money, it's your donkey, but if it's mine, I'd put it to sleep. So I went to Indiana. And I turned out with a 4-body bypass in Indiana. I was in the hospital the same time this donkey was. I also had a donkey. He got sick. Now, I told her what I'd do with it. Well, when she got to the hospital, I began to ask her about the donkeys, and they were both as sick. Well, he went to the hospital and came back pretty expensive too. But I want you to know that was the only time that Carol had 3 jackasses in the house. So, but I tell you, she was so loving and so caring, and it was always, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Go out to eat. It was impossible. And I always had to make the choice. But I'm going to quit for now because I'll tell you what I tell everybody else. I wanted to keep this short. But when you get around old people like me, you got to watch out because we do a lot of talking, but we don't get a lot of information out. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Robert.